Hannah Bloom, and I'm a college dropout. The question is, why? Why did I drop out of college? To set the scene, I just finished high school, fresh out of high school. I graduated at 17 because I was like on that weird cusp thing. So I was 17 when I graduated. I was always told that I could move out as soon as I graduated. I was like, all right, I am moving out. Moved out of my mother's house, 17, jam-packed my car. Enrolled myself into a community college. I was going to 2 college courses. I was going to English, to this like teacher course that would set you up to become a teacher. Now, I only do 2 classes because they were $600 for those 2 classes, and that doesn't include like the books that you have to pay for. The experience wasn't terrible. Going to a community college, it was smaller. If you're in a big college, you're probably like, no, they're definitely smaller. But to me, it was like a massive high school. I ended up taking English because that was a core class and I loved English. Inspiration was to become an English teacher. So obviously I took the teacher class because that was fun. And then I took a core class because I needed to take it. I wanted to be an English teacher, so it just like made sense to take the both at the same time. To this day, I think I would be an amazing teacher. I love kids. I love when they're young how their brain works. Like they're literally learning from you because they know absolutely nothing. They know what they see in the world, but they don't know those like core things that you gotta know, the alphabet. Learned about the school system, and especially Florida. If you have ever lived there, ever went to school there, you know that the Florida school system is really crappy. And that's where I was gonna be teaching. And just knowing about the system was enough to tell me, okay, I can't do this. People have been trying to change it literally back then, and it's 2024 now, and they're still trying to change it. From this, you're like, well, Hannah, people change their minds all the time in college. Like, why don't you just pick something else to do? You don't have to be a teacher. You could be this or this or this. And to that, I say, this is where life takes a turn on me and things get super extremely complicated. My car was in my mother's name, which I used obviously for transportation to get to work, to get to college, to get to where I was living at the time. And because I made that decision, I got my phone turned off. Nothing, all I could use was Wi-Fi, and as you know, if you leave the house, you have no Wi-Fi, and I am the type of person, don't do directions very well. Like, I am not that type of person where you can be like, oh yeah, it's on this street and this street, and like, I know what you're talking about. No, that's not me. So since my phone was not working, I had to buy a GPS. Why are GPSs like $100 and something? Someone explained that to me. They should be so much cheaper for the fact that you can use a GPS on your phone. Then I got threatened with multiple things that obviously made it to where it impacted my job. It impacted my vehicle. At that point, I no longer had a car. Since I did not have a car, I could not go to college. Everybody in my family, they needed their cars to go to their jobs. And so obviously, like, I don't want to impact them. And then you're like, well, Hannah, you could have done online school. But no, because I could no longer afford school. I ended up taking the books back for school because if you know, those books are, they're expensive. One book was like 100 and something, and the other book I think was 80. And so I was trying to return them to get the money back, so that was a whole process. That is why I dropped out of college. Now, some questions that you guys might have. If you have any more, drop them down below. I'm just gonna read these off my phone. What college did you go to? Brandon Community College, which is in Florida if you do not know. Why did you choose to move out? That situation that I was in was not good for my personal growth. I just could not be in that situation anymore. Did you ever want to go to college? Honestly, no. No, I did not. It was kind of that situation where everybody in my family didn't go to college, and so they were like, oh, you're gonna be the first one in our family to go to college, to graduate. I mean, probably not the first, but like, you know what I mean. And of course, that's a lot of pressure. And then it was also, I didn't want to go. But when you're put in that position, you don't really have an option. Now, I did think about going to trade school because I think that those are amazing. I mean, they teach you hands-on skills. So it's like, say you want to become a hairdresser, they'll teach you everything you need to know. And who doesn't need hairdressers? I mean, unless you know how to cut your own hair and do all that stuff, you don't need one. Now, if you want to become a doctor, obviously you're going to have to go to college because they don't teach that stuff in trade school. But you're always going to need like a plumber and an electrician, something that's never going to go out of style. So I just personally thought that trade school was always something that I would consider more. How did your family feel when you dropped out of college? Well, they were very upset. Some of them that did know what was going on, they understood, but some of my family members still think that I should go. Why haven't I gone back to college? We will touch on that. Well, for one, y'all know college is not free. Should it be? I feel like, yeah, super expensive. And we just don't have the expenses for it. What are you going to do without college? Well, I'm gonna live my life because, newsflash, you don't need college. And that is something that is a old thought, that you need college to become successful. So many people are successful and they do not go to college. You might have to work harder at some things, but it's not a golden ticket. And most people, I feel like they think if you go to college, you got a golden ticket to go wherever you want, whatever job, and that's just not true. It's more your experience. Let's say if you were a chef, fresh out of college, have no experience, I think somebody that has a lot of culinary experience is more likely to get that job to become a chef than somebody that has no experience. Like literally every job is gonna be like, oh, what's your experience? Oh, I want you to have experience. They go off of experience. So the more experience you have with things, that's how you're gonna land a job. That's my story. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and like I said, put all the comments down below.